Hi, this is Jonathan Levy from the Levy Shoulder to Hand Center at the Paleoorthopedic and Spine Institute. This video will demonstrate augmentation of a rotator cuff repair with a bioabsorbable interpositional nanofiber scaffold. I have relevant disclosures that relate to this, as I am a shareholder and medical advisor for Atrian, maker of the patch which will be featured in this video. This is the history of a 75-year-old right-hand dominant female who fell 9 months ago, creating a traumatic tear of her rotator cuff. She failed therapy for 6 months, had pain, good motion, but weakness to rotator cuff, supraspinatus, and external rotation strength without an external rotation lag sign. This MRI demonstrates a full-thickness retracted rotator cuff tear to the mid-portion of the humeral head with biceps tenosynovitis. There are no arthritic changes, and there is no atrophy of the rotator cuff musculature. Why an augment? In my opinion, this is a great footprint expander utilizing a nanofiber scaffold. Recent work from Tony Romeo demonstrated a much more mature tendon-to-bone healing interface after the use of the nanofiber scaffold. It was a sheet model, but it demonstrated very interesting results. Bolekis reported an improved ultrasound healing of repaired rotator cuff tears when the same nanofiber scaffold were used. And from a workflow standpoint, this is quick and easy, adds no additional surgical steps, and no additional anchors or staples. At the start of the case, an appropriate timeout was performed. The patch can be fashioned to match the footprint, as patients have different footprints. They're different size patients, and this particular patient was a bit smaller. I cut it to size, and then I insert it through a lateral cannula. 2 spinal needles are placed where the anchors will eventually be placed. The graft is advanced to the footprint. The footprint has previously been prepared with a shaver to create a bleeding surface, and each of the 2 spinal needles are used to just hold down the graft in place. I typically place my suture anchors for rotator cuff repair right at the medial edge of the footprint. In this case, an all suture-based self-punching anchor is used. By making just a spinal needle hole in the graft, it can create a leading edge to allow the self-punching suture anchor to be advanced through the graft and into the bone. So here you can see the anchor being advanced, but not dislodged from the inserter. That helps to stabilize the nanofiber scaffold, and the second spinal needle is replaced with another self-punching all suture anchor. The bone right at the edge of the footprint is typically strong, much stronger than the lateral bone, and it can support an all suture anchor. Here you can see the second anchor is going to be advanced, and at this point the remainder of the case is just as though you're repairing a rotator cuff. And here you can see this footprint expander. The bone marrow elements will leak through the anchor onto the nanofiber scaffold once the repair is done. So here you can see a retrograde placement of each of the sutures. And in this case, you'll see a series of horizontal mattress sutures, which will be used to repair the rotator cuff in a sequential way. Once all the sutures have been passed, I like to tie my medial row. Here you can see the remainder of the knots have been done, creating a strong medial row fixation, and a lateral row series of anchors will then be placed. This is an intra-articular view where you can see an edge of the graft as well as reconstitution of the bone tendon interface. Her post-operative course was excellent. She had no pain, and she was doing quite well throughout her rehabilitation course. Thank you very much.